games! Hey there, comrades. What's up? Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be working on a really quick, simple, somewhat detailed cleaning of the Game Boy Advance SP. I say somewhat as this system is working perfectly fine, and I don't intend to undo the entire top half of it. I may do a case replacement on this later on, so if you need to know how to get to the top of your system, you might want to check out that video if I do another to follow, because I want to replace it a little bit because of that. But it's cosmetic. The system works fine, and I'm already working on modding a original model Game Boy Advance to be more so my daily driver for this stuff. I like the form factor of that one better. But with all that said, let's get to the teardown. So this one's going to be pretty simple. It's a couple of tri-wing screws in the back. Then they hide another one underneath the battery. And that one's going to be a Phillips head, but there's another tri-wing under the battery in there. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. It was wishful thinking. But, yeah, you switch to your Phillips. That has a little, like, C-ring clasp on it, so the screw's not going to actually come off. And glitter. Glitter is everywhere. It's the herpes of crafting. Once you get glitter on something, you never get it all off. There's our last tri-wing. Now, in the event that you're doing something like this and you're cleaning it and you care for whatever reason, because there's no warranties now, but that's the water void sticker right there. So if you get that wet, you're not going to be able to send this back to Nintendo. But with that last screw out, it just comes out. We have our bumpers. You have your power switch. Bumpers have a little spring. Oh joy. Everybody loves working around little springs. I think I can clean those without taking those out. I hate dealing with those little springs. But we'll get back to that. I'll zoom you in so you can see the insides. So once you get inside, you're switching over to your Phillips head. You have one main screw in the center, and you have two in front of the cartridge slot. Of course, I would suggest you keep these screws separate from the others that you just shook out. If you remember your system's orientation, you're going to have a ribbon cable up near the top of your system. So be careful of that. It has two little locks on it. You can see them on the corners here. You're going to undo those. And once those are off, the ribbon cable should slide right out. And there you go. Your system is now separated from the top of the boards. That's the brightness level. Okay. So you're going to, oh, so much glitter. You're going to take all your buttons out. In my case, you're going to take them out real carefully because this whole side has previously broken. I'm going to try and see if I can get a little bit of glue on that on the inside. Sturdy that up a little. If I can fix that, I might keep this case, but yeah, we'll see. That's a big if. See, our D-pad is definitely in need of a cleaning. First things first, we'll clean out our slot with some contact cleaner. This is what I'm using for the day. This is non-conductive. It's not harmful to anything we're working on. So you can go ahead and use a generous amount and apply directly. It won't corrode. If anything, it might actually help prevent a little bit of corrosion. And it dries very quickly. And while you're at it with that, you might as well get a little bit in your ribbon connector. While your brush is still damp, you can clean out your ports a little. Tactile switches for your bumpers. I'm actually going to give them a little spritz. And just to be safe, hit the power switch in your volume box. Just give them a quick work over. This will help break up anything that's stuck in there. Alright. That's most of all we need to do to clean this. So, some IPA out to clean these contacts. Oop. Looks like some of the old adhesive on them starting to give. Yep, that one's loose too. I'm going to clean these discs off. And for the most part, the inside of the system is pretty clean. Make sure these are still making their little pops. And now we're just going to clean membranes. Normally I recommend doing some hot water soak to get these clean, but I don't have that many of them and they're little, so we're just going to give them a quick scrub with some IPA. Of course, not the kind you drink. Yeah, you can see there's a good bit of grime on there. I'll bring you in a little closer. We're into smaller works now. Try and get all that glitter and all that grime up. Hopefully your system hasn't fallen victim to glitter. The system, you can tell, definitely got a good amount of use though, so that's good. Had a good long-lived life. And every now and then I might use it. I'll probably start using it soon, actually, while I wait for stuff to come in for my other Game Boy Advance. So I kind of just really been wanting to play Pokemon. And I have Pokemon Sapphire ready to go. Why not start playing it? Can't use the regular Advanced yet. I don't have the backlit screen. I can't see anything. I don't know if the screens were always that bad, or if it's the age of them that's really just catching up to them, or if it's my age. But I cannot see anything on those old screens anymore. Buttons are so little. They don't seem this small when they're in the system. Ah, I see what they did. They use those little cap pieces on the board in place of using the old graphite looking stuff that's usually on the underside of these rubber membranes to make the connection. So now I guess you could replace the rubber membranes and such with almost anything. I guess it makes third-party work a lot easier as long as it hits the right area and fits in the socket. It'll work. You don't have to worry about getting that contact stuff, which for a while seemed to be an issue, but I've been seeing more and more of them show up nowadays. Well, now we're just going to give a quick cleaning to the inside of the shell. I feel like something might have been spilled here, but it all got caught here and didn't make it to the board, so that's good. Quick once over on the ribbon cables contacts. Get a quick clean from this side of it. Like I said, there's really nothing wrong with this system. It just needed a cleaning. I wanted to get into it to farther clean it, and there goes that other piece. I'm not going to bother replacing that. Cosmetic damage, but yeah, it'll work fine. It's a shame. I'll probably end up replacing the case. Yeah. The gunmetal's not my favorite color anyway. Alright, so now we just put everything back together the way it was. Since everything's so small, I'm getting the feeling that may be easier said than done, but we should be able to get it all together. Zoom out. Looks like our start and select buttons don't have any particular orientation. Neither does this rubber pad. I believe our brightness does have an orientation. There we go. You know, I start to worry every time something starts to go this smoothly. No orientation for the D-pad either. That's a little surprising. The membrane does, though. Alright. So now we got to reconnect the ribbon cable. Of course, right? There we go. So the buttons are in the right place. I'm just going to bring this Canton tape across them, hold them in place, get tweezers out. That did not work. See, we all make little mistakes, little happy little accidents. There we go. Should always have the right tool for the job, not a box cutter. But these are working fine now. Pop, 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 pop. And that tape will help make sure in case the system drops, gets shook around, or even just generally gets transported and used, like a handheld system does. That'll make sure that those don't end up out of contact. So now we got to get the ribbon cable back in. In, it's locked. Now I don't want to do that again until I change this case out. Now I'm going to put the center screw back in here. I'll hold it all down, and then I'll give the buttons a test, pretty much like I was with my fingers. Oop. I think I'm a little too hard on that one, so now I think I just lost that screw post. These things get really brittle with age. I didn't think it got that brittle. Yep. All of our buttons are feeling good. I'll try and get that screw out so it doesn't cause a problem, so that's not gripping into anything. We can clean the outside of this shell with a wipe in a second. Which way does this go? Does it go this way? It does go that way. There we go. So ring. I thought that's where our try ring went. I don't know what that is actually. Might be a test point. There we are reaching the home stretch. I'm going to wet wipe out in a second to clean out the shell. There's things like this that are pretty simple. Good starting point, a way to learn. As you can see, even I still struggled with the ribbon cable. I'm sure some people have some tips on how to deal with those, especially the ones that are like that are bent up. And if you're one of those people, feel free to drop a line, leave a comment. To clean the shell, I'm just going to use a vinegar-based moist wipe that I have. Yeah, I'm going to want to change the shell out. You can actually see the PCB board in there. These wipes are pretty good, but I kind of sort of hate how they foam up. But they do a good job cleaning screens. Alright, well, this is it. Pretty much all cleaned up, done. Just test to make sure it's still all fully functional. But yeah, this that's terrible. I gotta replace that. Oh well, it shouldn't be too hard, and they're pretty cheap. I think it's like $15–20 for a whole shell. I really thought you'd be able to see the screen better, but yeah, there you go. You can see it working. Button presses are working. Alright, so that'll be all for today, guys. Thanks for making it to the end of this video if you did, and we'll catch you again next time. Love y'all. Stay safe.